Errol Rahim here with Eddie Hearn in sunny Sheffield. I don't think you get to say that very often.
Yeah.
We brought the sunshine down here from London. A fantastic fight week is upon us. Errol Spence versus Kell Brook.
You look a little bit like Errol Spence.
Oh, God, here we go.
I've said that before.
Yes, yeah. Now everyone will say it again.
yeah.
The comment section is going to be filled with it now. Thank you for that, Eddie.
That wasn't for you, that was for Dave Allen.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Errol Spence, my little brother, came out here to Sheffield to challenge your man, Kell Brook. Both guys are fantastic fighters, but it has to be said that one guy is a proven fantastic fighter at the elite level, and Kell Brook is trying to break in and make his name there. First of all, why was this a good fight for Kell Brook to take? It seems like, he's got everything to risk. Explain to me why this fight was made and what his thought process was.
Well, it wasn't a good fight for Kell Brook to take. But every day that edges closer, I start to think, what a genius move this was, taking this fight, because I really, really believe that he's going to do a job on Errol Spence on Saturday night. I sat down with Kell Brook, obviously after the Triple G fight. We were talking about the Khan fight, and I said to him, listen, if you don't fight Khan, then in my opinion, you need to move up to 154 pounds. You're stronger there. And more importantly, if you stay at welterweight and don't fight Khan, you've got to fight Errol Spence. So swerve that. And that's what I said. And he said, yeah, but what happens with my belt? And the only reason he took the Golovkin fight as well is because he maintained his belt. He wouldn't have vacated that belt to fight Golovkin. So I said, well, you'd have to vacate the belt if you move to 154. He said, no chance. He said, I didn't go out and beat Sean Porter for that belt to just give it up. He said, I will beat him and I will knock him out. He said, get me that fight at Bramall Lane. He said, I'm unbeatable there. That's my place. It's the place I come as a kid watching my team. So we made it happen, and every day he looked stronger and stronger and more confident. We were just talking off camera there, Errol Spence. It's like, it's like at one stage he bashed up Algieri, no one did that. He bashed up Bundu, no one's really done that. And then you go, actually he hasn't fought anyone either. So we know he's good. How good? He has never fought an elite fighter. Now he is. I believe Errol Spence is one of the best welterweights in the world, unquestionably. But I've honestly always believed that Kell Brook is the #1 welterweight in the world. And he couldn't show that against Gennady Golovkin. He showed that he was immensely tough. He was very talented. He had a massive set of nuts. But now he's got an actual chance to show if he is the best welterweight in the world, and I'm very, very excited for him.
Well, both are big guys. They're both big welterweights, really. Errol is a very tall guy, a little lean. But another thing that Kell Brook showed in the Triple G fight is how naturally big he really is. So this discussion at 147, do you stay there, do you vacate? It's got to do more than with just opponents, but can he continue to make 147 with all the conversation and reports and rumors about whether or not he's even going to make the weight for this fight? How concerned are you that he can continue to campaign at 47, and how concerned are you in 48 hours that scale doesn't say 147?
No, I'm definitely not concerned about that. He will 100% make the weight. That won't be a problem. How he makes the weight is another story. I know how he's going to make the weight because I've seen his check weights, and he's absolutely in a place he's never been before at this stage. Almost too good to be true, to be honest with you, with his weight last night. I don't see weight being an issue in this fight. It's a struggle for him, Rahim, but he's not. It's not. I've seen him make 147 pound before. Carson Jones won. I mean, he couldn't even walk to the scales. This is not going to be one of those. He knows. I think Kell Brook's one of those guys that when he's in with a Carson Jones or someone he believes can't beat him, he takes the foot off the gas. He'll creep into the cupboard at 11:35 p.m. and have a little muffin in camp, Yeah. This time, it is like they've been feeding him. He's been the perfect example of how to make weight for a fight in this fight. So I don't think there should be excuses. Even if he does struggle at the weight and it affects his performance, it should not undermine the victory of Errol Spence if that happens. As far as I'm concerned, these two guys are in their prime. They are prepared meticulously. The best man will win on the night. And I can't wait, because this is a fight. You've got execs coming in from over the world. Speaking to Stephen Espinosa the other day, I said, when am I going to see you next? Well, Brook Spence, I'm not missing that. This is a fighter's fight. This is a fight that the whole fight industry cannot wait for, and both guys need a lot of credit. Errol Spence because he's challenging in the UK, and Kell Brook because he's not swerving his mandatory defence. So this is what it's all about.
There is a downside to having faced many elite fighters, and it's wear. When you fight a guy like Triple G at 160, and the fight was stopped on an injury, it's a technical knockout, but we all know now that he suffered an injury to the eye, and this is his first fight back. Errol Spence is no feather-handed fighter. Is there a concern there that he may need to box more and stay away from Errol's power because,
Exactly
I mean, we don't know what happens if that eye gets hit again.
It might, well, we do because it's been happening in sparring a lot. And I know sparring, but he's still been sparring with no head guard and with small gloves. So
sparring with no head guard.
Yeah, because you got to feel that. You got to know that it's okay, and we know from a medical point of view it's okay. But any fighter would. It's like if you broke your jaw.
Right.
You want to almost take a clean shot on there to make sure it's okay. Sure. I think everything you said completely opposite. I think that he needs to dominate Errol Spence. I think he needs to control the pace of the fight. I think he needs to bully Errol Spence, take the fight to him. You won't see Kell Brook running this fight. You'll see him fighting fire with fire in that ring. You don't want Errol to get in his rhythm. He's fighting away from home. He's going to get booed out of town. It's going to be really horrible and hostile for him. You want to unsettle him. Don't let him get into a rhythm and get comfortable because he's an excellent fighter. I think Kell keeps saying that he believes both fighters could touch down in this fight. He thinks this fight's going to be like Nazim Hamed against Kevin Kelly. That is what's in his head, and he's prepared to go to places he's never been to before. Regarding the Triple G fight, it went 5 rounds. It wasn't a beatdown. He took some good shots. He was never hurt in the fight, other than the first 15 seconds of that fight. Again, after that, took everything. It wasn't a 12-round war. I know he got an injury, but it wasn't a fight that he feels like took a lot out of him physically. He didn't really have to make weight for that fight, So outside of the injury, he doesn't feel like that was a taxing fight. So, but we'll see, won't we?
Well, we've seen a lot of jaw-jacking going on between these two, although I must say, as fighters go, they've been somewhat respectful, even with their, their words, the volley of words. But you've got a fighter who the entire world is enamored with right now, and there's been a lot of crude conversation coming your way and his way. Obviously, I'm talking about Anthony Joshua and what is on the horizon for him, be it Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. These guys are doing a lot of talking. Fury now, he's in training his fodder on you. What's the state of Fury Joshua, and what's the state of Hearn Fury?
Yeah. Well, the state is he doesn't have a license, so he's probably more likely to knock me out at the moment than Anthony Joshua. Listen, there's no one that wants to see Tyson Fury back in the ring more than Anthony Joshua and myself. It looks like that UCAD hearing is delayed. Looks like a complete mess. Talking about they won't have the hearing till October, November, and he can't get his license back by then. Therefore, he might not fight this year. It's a real mess, and I don't know enough about it, but. Like I said, we want to see him back in the ring. The next step for Anthony Joshua will be announced probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's likely to be Vladimir Klitschko. We also have to fight Pulev at some point. Whether it's not next, it's the one after. So we're just sorting that out. He was in the office on Monday. Untold offers coming in from China, Dubai, Nigeria, America, Cardiff. It's like, everybody wants to show the Anthony Joshua fight all around the world.
Now we're going to see Joshua Klitschko 2 announced in a couple of weeks. Look, it was a tremendous fight, but I thought it was relatively definitive, even with the knockdown of Joshua. Why do we need to see that fight again? And is it going to be on the same scale? Are you trying to outdo the first fight?
He'll definitely outdo it. When you say definitive, Anthony Joshua looked like he was gone and out of the fight in the 5th round. He looked like he may not get up in the 6th round, so I think definitive is the wrong word. I understand what you're saying.
A guy gets up from that and knocks the guy out the way he does.
Yeah, but I think also Vladimir Klitschko will be thinking, hang on a minute, I should have jumped on him there in the 5th or 6th round. I could have got him out of there. It was an incredible performance from Vladimir Klitschko, one of the best of his career, which should actually show you this guy's not done. He's definitely not done. So
why not Vitali? Give Vitali.
Yeah, I know, that'd be a big fight. It's the biggest fight for Anthony Joshua outside of Tyson Fury. It's Vladimir Klitschko 2. So
you think that's bigger than Wilder,
yes.
Joshua?
Yeah,
really?
I do. Yeah, worldwide. Not in America. Not in America,
Fair
but
play. So we're seeing. Where are we going to see it then?
Where or when?
where? We'll go with both.
Yeah.
Both.
Probably November, December. And like I said, we're not limited to the UK. We have a great thing going here at the moment. We're enjoying it, and but there have been some huge offers coming in from around the world. And I think Vladimir as well, he's the kind of guy that he likes the idea of that. Like, part of him was really proud of doing 90,000 at Wembley, and for him to go to maybe MGM or to China or Dubai, that would float his boat as well. So we have to talk to Bernd Bonte, to Anthony, to Vladimir, and we'll work that out over the coming weeks.
We've seen some big lifestyle changes from Joshua. I just talked to him a couple of days ago. He's moving out of his mother's house. When I got home to America, I saw you guys talking about doing a victory tour of sorts.
Yeah, he's doing that, yeah.
So now we've seen fighters go this way before. He's an incredible talent, but he is young. If you take him on victory tours and his lifestyle starts to change, is there any concern that his focus strays, or that these things become more about business and less about boxing?
No, not with Anthony. I mean, the one thing I've always noticed with him is a desire to improve as a fighter and as a person, actually, but definitely as a fighter. And all the things that went wrong in that fight, he wants to correct, he wants to improve on. So I don't see that. I think he's 100% focused on improving as a fighter. He wants to improve on a business sense. He wants to break boundaries. Of course, he wants to make as much money as possible. But he's a very focused individual. And right now, I see no deterrent to that path.
I'm not going to keep you out here too long in this hot sun. I got a couple more. Obviously, last Saturday wasn't your card, but it was a tremendous fight. You're used to the Americans coming over to here and getting chucked in the bin, which is all I've been seeing since I've been showing up on your cards. But last Saturday, we saw an American come over here and actually take the strap home for once. How do you rate Gervonta Davis and kind of the spectacle of Floyd Mayweather coming over, the big show? How'd you take that fight?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time it's about Floyd rather than the fighter, but that's because he's a huge star and all the media want to interview Floyd and not Gervonta. Gervonta is an extraordinary talent. I wasn't sure it was the right move to come to the UK, not because he wouldn't beat Liam Walsh, but because he's to really build on the back of the performance in January. So, I think that he was sensational. He won so easily. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought Liam Walsh would put up a great fight, but Gervonta's a special talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the sport. We just talked off camera. Gervonta Davis against Lomachenko. Yes, please.
Give me a prediction on that one.
I can't see anyone beating Lomachenko at the moment, but like I said, Gervonta's a great talent, and I think he's going to get better and better.
One of the best fights I've seen from smaller guys has been on your card. The very first time I went to Manchester, in fact, we saw Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg. Had a tremendous time in the Manchester area, and I think we'd be remiss if I didn't mention the tragedy there a couple of days ago. And with all the business you've done there, as familiar as you are with the town, just ask you to speak on your feelings, your thoughts on that, and how you're connected to the city.
Yeah, it's very sad. I mean, it doesn't matter where that sort of tragedy happens. It's sickening wherever it is, but Manchester's a special place. We've promoted dozens of events there over the years in that arena. And the fact that it's kids as well is just absolutely sickening. You wonder where this world's going and what it's all about. Why would you do that? But we could sit here and talk all day about the politics, and it's our hearts and feelings from Matchroom Boxing go out to all the families involved in that, and also to Manchester as well, which, like I said, is a special place for sport and music and industry as well. They've got big hearts. And you've got to keep going. It's all you can do is keep going. And, it's a brutal world we live in, and very, very sad and disgusting. But what can you do other than dust yourself down every day and try and do your best?
Those people have shown me great hospitality, huge hearts, wonderful fight fans, so much energy. We know that they'll come back. They'll be, be able to handle this. And this tragedy is one of the things that has touched us all. So I appreciate you commenting on it.
Cheers, Raheem.
Radio Raheem with Eddie Hearn.